Am I the a-hole if I told my parents I don't want to go back to living with them? 7 years ago my parents decided to go on a world trip. Because I was too young to join them, they arranged for me to live with their best friends who they've known since elementary school, and they were giving temporary guardianship of me. These friends, let's call them Pete and May, own and live on a horse ranch in Montana. So for me, having lived in Chicago until then, it was a huge change. I was of course really angry, depressed and sad at first because I felt like my parents abandoned me. Pete and May really helped a lot in coming to terms with those feelings. They've always treated me like their own daughter and taught me so much. I learned how to ride horses and how to take care of them. I help out on the ranch regularly, while attending school virtually. We go horse riding in the open country and in the mountains every weekend with the three of us. They even gifted me my own horse to care for, and I love her so much. Honestly, this kind of life just sits so well with me. I am genuinely enjoying every second of my life. I do have semi-regular contact with my parents, like once every few weeks. Sometimes a video call and voice call, sometimes just an email, postcards. But after the initial period of feeling abandoned, I don't think I ever really missed them. Now my parents have sent me a message saying they're done with their travels and are coming to pick me up so we can live together again, how much they missed me and can't wait to see me again. Which I think is really unfair, because if they really missed me they wouldn't have gone off traveling for 7 years. And I just don't want to. After living so close to nature for so long, really getting into this lifestyle and spending so much time around the horses, I don't think I can go back to living in the city. I don't want to abandon my horse either, and honestly Pete and May feel more like my parents than my real parents at this point. I had a conversation with Pete and May, but they didn't really seem clear on many details either. First off, and probably the most important one, I asked them if they'd allow me to stay, and they told me they consider me their daughter so I can stay as long as I want. They'd love to have me around. So at least regardless of what happens, I at least will have a place to call home. Secondly, a lot of people mention that maybe my parents are on the run from the law or something else. I never even thought about that possibility. I guess it could be true, but I don't really know how to find out. Though it's a bit of a scary thought. Thirdly, when Pete and May agreed to take me in, my parents apparently just said they'd go out of the country for a little while. Pete and May took me in under the condition that my parents would visit often, and they agreed, but we know how that went. Pete and May would often call my parents telling them to come visit because I needed my parents, but they never came. Pete and May eventually realized after like 1 year that there'd be a reasonable chance that my parents would not come back, despite the semi-regular contact they had with me. So they would raise me the best they could themselves. Asking about how my parents were when they were younger. Apparently my parents have always been a bit strange. Very little sense of responsibility, never taking things seriously, always getting in trouble. Guess they didn't really grow out of that phase. This coming weekend I'm going to sit down with Pete to write a proper response to my parents, because I don't think I'd be able to write a message without getting emotional. Hopefully once my parents read it things will go like I want them to go, because the more I read the replies here, the more unsure I am about what kind of people my parents actually are. 1 week later I've written a long message with Pete, focusing on what a lot of people have been saying. Things like that I want to finish my school here, that I'm already preparing for college here, how all my friends are here, those kinds of things. And that because of that, I don't want to leave here to begin everything new again in the city. I didn't write anything about not missing them or anything that could cause trouble. I haven't gotten a reply yet, I don't expect one soon since they've always taken weeks to reply before. Secondly, I tried to do a search for my parents' names to see whether they're wanted or otherwise running away from something, but wasn't able to find anything. I'm not sure if it's because they have relatively common names or because I'm just bad at searching. One part of me is also scared to look deeper. Some people recommended hiring a private investigator, but aside from it costing a lot of money, I'm not really sure if I actually want to know anymore. I'm not sure if it's better to have parents who are negligent and just decided to travel for years for fun, or to have parents who are criminals who are on the run from the law. I guess I'm a bit scared of knowing which one it is, if I'm ever even able to find out. Pete and May insist that they don't know anything other than my parents saying that they'd be out of the country for a while. They have asked my parents often when they'd be back or when they'd visit, but my parents apparently never gave a clear answer. I don't really have any reason to think Pete and May are lying to me, so I think that Pete and May really don't know the reason my parents have been gone for 7 years either. So I guess now I'm just waiting until my parents respond to my message. It's kind of nerve-wracking not knowing what kind of reply I'll get.